What do you guys think that has really set you apart to create that culture in a business or an industry where people are complaining about their food service employees all the time?
Yeah.
What are you guys doing that's changed that whole perception for your own business?
Yeah, that's a great thought. I think part of that is making sure people know what our mission is, that we really want to delight our customers. We want to give them something. You've heard us say it a lot of times, fast, healthy, and fresh. And we
Right.
want them to have a positive experience when they come through the drive-through. And we praise them every time we notice them being kind, especially when it's stressful, especially when it's a lunch rush and people need to get through the line fast. We praise them for keeping cars moving quickly and being nice and being kind. And we have customers who come through every single day. We have customers who
We
come
do.
back,
We have
and some
regulars.
of them are driving 30 miles to come
Yeah.
eat at Salad Spot, and they come every day. And they talk about how it's their grocery store, it's their favorite place to come, it's the only place they eat now, and they love how they feel, and they love the employees. It's really been fun to see and make some relationships that way, and see where this thing's going.
We have one that comes through just for the drinks.
Yeah.
How have you guys made it so affordable? I think what was it, like $8.99 for a full salad?
$8.99 for a salad or a wrap.
Yeah.
Our monthly special, we go up to $9.99 for our monthly salad. There is a lot of thought put into that. I mean, you are doing all of the detail. You've seen how much work has to go into making sure a business is run very effectively. Every single salad is worked on for weeks and months to make sure that we have something that customers will be delighted in and that also can be profitable for the company. And by extension, profitable for our franchisees, because we know they've got to be able to have something that they can repeat hundreds and thousands of times and have profit there every single time and have something their customers will keep coming back for. So
And to add one more thing to that, the building actually allows us to have less expensive offerings as well. Having a less expensive building initially brings down costs and allows us to do those kinds of things. I think it gives us an advantage.
the number of times people have told us this should be $12.99, this should be $14.99.
Yep.
Yeah, we've had many people tell us you could charge more for this, you could charge more for this. But part of our mission, and you've heard it a lot of times, is that we want to be affordable, we want to be fast, and we want to be fresh and healthy. And so we've put so much work in to make sure that the margin is there, that our prime costs are in line. We focus on our prime costs every single day to make sure that when our franchisees open, they've got the profit they need to have this be a great investment for them. And we've seen that we can do it. We've seen that the margin is there, the profit's there, and the quality's there. It's a good package.
And it's getting better every
And
month.
it's getting better every month. So
That's awesome. Yeah, you guys could be like almost like a study for a college class on business, making sure that your brand is consistent through and through. And that's where we know this, right? Tyler, from a marketing perspective, if you're not consistent, people see that.
Absolutely.
And you could be marketing from one thing, but if Mark is and the guys in operations doing something totally different, everything's going to blow up.
Right. You might have a short-term bump from effective marketing, but it's not going to be long-term and it's not going to last. And one of the things that I've been very, very just thrilled about is seeing, Mark mentioned Google reviews. The Google reviews have been phenomenal, and you can't fake that. People give their honest opinions in there, whether you like it or not. And we recently had a little employee get together, a little barbecue, and one of the things that I made sure to let them know was, hey, I recognize how difficult it is to get a score like you're getting and how difficult that is, so thank you. But really that experience is consistent every time, and I really just I praise the leadership and those working in the building for that.
Yeah, well, that's fantastic. I think you guys have done an incredible job this far, and I can't believe you're just getting started in franchising, because you guys are talking like people who've been franchisors for many years. All right, so before we make you guys a case study in college,
Goodness.
let me ask you guys this. Every entrepreneur, we go through highs and lows, challenges, mistakes we've made. Give me a little transparency here of maybe a mistake that you guys made, or error or something where you guys had to figure it out and you guys fixed it, because nothing's ever perfect, right?
yeah, that's a good question.
Mark, maybe we talk about how we got to measuring food and how we've really honed in on on measurements,
Yeah.
things like that.
So I talked just a minute ago about how we planned our recipes so carefully to make sure we had the margin. Well, we were working so closely on making sure that our food costs were in line to have our prime costs what they need to be between food and labor. And we weren't seeing our food costs get to the numbers we were anticipating and that our recipes said they should be. And so we looked at our most expensive ingredients and institute a practice of measuring those. And a lot of restaurants do, right? A lot of restaurants make sure that they're serving the right portion. And we got so excited about this when we noticed that we'd been creeping up a little bit on a couple of ingredients. We put out samples of how people were making them, like blind studies of saying, all right, make your salad the way you normally would. Make another one. All these salads that we were testing. And then we said, okay, now make it like the recipe says to make it. And
Okay.
tell a difference. Like visually, you can't tell a difference, but the cost was there, right? And just managing being that level of detail. And we've not heard one comment from a customer but praise for how good the food is. Like no one has noticed a thing about us being very careful about making sure it's exactly to the recipe, because the recipe was thought out months ahead of time and planned and practiced and visualized and photographed, but going right back to that core recipe and making sure we're following our practices and processes has brought our prime costs, just made them look beautiful. Financials are looking good, and it's been a lot of fun to solve that.
Yeah.
That was a challenge.
It was a challenge, yeah. It was, and I think it's easy for those costs to drift if you're not if you're not carefully watching those things. And so, having processes and systems in place to make sure that things are staying within the proper thresholds consistently is important.
Yeah. What about in terms of industry trends and kind of staying ahead of the competition? What do you guys do as you're looking at the industry, to making sure that you're in alignment with what the current customer wants, customers' needs, right? Taste change.
I'm going to brag on Tyler for just a second here. When I look at how we launched our business, we're not the only place in Utah that sells salads. But there was so much thought put into our branding, how the building looks, the experience the customer gets. All of that adds to branding. And if you're going to be successful as a franchise, you've got to have a brand that actually matters, that people recognize, they resonate with it, it means something to them. I just think Tyler's done such a remarkable job with that. And I think that will help us stand up from the competition. When it comes down to it, if your food isn't good, you're not going to win, right? And if the price isn't right, and we've got all those things, we've got this beautiful brand that we care about and we nurture and we message well to our customers, we protect it, and we are looking for the right ways to build that awareness. We also believe our franchisees will help with that, because we're finding franchisees who are aligned with our brand, and they'll help carry that forward too. You've got to have franchisees who resonate with your brand as well and feel passionate about it. And we think we're finding those people. That's who we're looking for.
And what about for future franchisee expansion? Are there particular markets that you're excited to get started in? Obviously, you guys are in Utah. Are you looking to expand beyond there, stay on the West Coast, or what's the thought on strategy?
Yeah, we're looking to expand way beyond Utah. We want to be across the nation. In fact, I'd say in 10 years, we want to be in every state. But we are starting our fastest growth in the short term will be Utah. We'll cover Utah pretty quickly, and you'll see locations across Utah very quickly.
Yeah.
We've also got good, strong interest in Idaho. We're moving into Idaho quickly. We have interest in Montana. But I think last count, I've had outreach from about 25 states already who found our brand from our social media, or we had one guy that's looking at doing multiple units who found us because of he's a construction executive and found our building, but very aligned with what we're doing. There's been cool things that have happened with brand awareness that have brought people to us, and we're getting a lot of buzz, a lot of interest. So,
wow, where do you think you guys are going to be in the next 5 years? What's the goal?
We were talking about that
today.
we were talking about that today. Yeah, we talk about it all the time. Can I go out to 10 years? I think in 10 years, if we can go to plan, I think we'll have the interest to have 1,000 locations in 10 years. That's aggressive, of course, but we have a lot of mentors in the space. We have mentors who are executives of franchises that have over 1,000 locations, and they believe we're in line to be able to do that, which is exciting. It's fun to have mentors who not only can see the vision, but can help coach us to be better. And then I'd say the other part of that vision is not just having that many locations, but building a brand that benefits our franchisees. We want something because every franchisee gets into this business because they want to do something for their family and their loved ones, and they also want to do something, they want it to be a business that they're passionate about. And we think this has all of that for the right people, they're going to be passionate about providing something that's healthy for their customers, that they can delight every time a customer goes through, they're pleased and they feel good about it, and that it also can build wealth for their families. So
we do anticipate having more, a few more corporate-owned locations, but really the large majority of the growth that we anticipate will be from franchisees. And so we're counting on finding those right people to come and to do this with us.
Thank you for tuning into the Emerging Franchise Brands podcast. For additional insights, guest applications, and to stay connected, visit us at efbpodcast.com. The Emerging Franchise Brands podcast is for entertainment purposes only, and the views expressed do not necessarily represent those of Emerging Franchise Brands, its host Frank Fiume, or Emerging Franchise Group, LLC. Any discussed franchise or investment opportunity requires thorough investigation, obtaining proper disclosure documents, and expert consultation before making any investment decisions. The podcast and its host do not offer professional advice or endorsements, and they hold no responsibility for actions, representations, accuracy, or consequential damages related to the podcast content.